Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today we're going to be making this emoji bag. Probably change it up a little bit, like we're going to lower these eyes, but let's get started. You're going to need a number 7mm hook. Does not want to focus. I don't have a letter for this. I don't know what letter it is. As far as I know, there is no letter for 7, but I could be wrong. You're going to need 2 pieces of yarn. So we're going to make this in the same style that we made the Easter baskets in. So yes, we're going to have to start with the magic ring. So easy peasy in one swoop, you've got your magic ring and you've got your chain 1. So I just like to put my fingers in here to kind of hold it taut. And I'm going to put 8 single crochets. That's 4. Just going to close that shut a little bit. You can just pull that closed. So now we're going to be working in the round. Here, let's get my stitch marker out. We're going to be working in the round, so you're going to want a stitch marker, whatever you use. So starting in this very first stitch and continuing around, you're going to put 2 single crochets in each. So you're going to have a total of 16 when you're done. So if you don't have a stitch marker, you can just count 16. So 2 stitches in that hole. Always put the stitch marker on the first stitch in that hole. 2 stitch markers, or 2 stitch markers, 2 single crochets in every stitch around. Oh, I did something wrong there. Oh, I didn't come all the way through. I did not make it all the way through that stitch. And that is 16. So your next round is going to be 1 single crochet, 2 single crochets, and you're going to do that all the way around. So the first stitch gets 1, and then your stitch marker. Next stitch gets 2. Next stitch gets 1. And the next stitch gets 2. So you're going to do that repeat all the way around, 1 2 1 2 1 2, for a total of 24 stitches. And you should finish your repeat at the stitch marker. So for the next round, it's going to be 112, 112, 112 for a total of 32. So there's one. There's another one, and then you put 2 in this one. So again, 1, 1, and then 2 single crochets in this stitch. And repeat that all the way around. And again, you should end at your stitch marker. If you don't, you should count your stitches because you've done something wrong. So you should have 32. The next round is just gonna be another one up. So if you're familiar, you can work ahead. So the next round is going to be 1, 1, 1, 2 for 40 stitches around. So we'll put our first one in. That's 2. That's 3. And now 2 in the same space. 1, 1, 1, 2. So 1, 1, 1, and then 2 in this space. All the way around. And again, you should end up at the stitch marker. So for our next row, we're we're going to do 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. So over the course of 4 stitches, you're going to put 1 single crochet in each, and then your increase. So let's start with 1. There's another one. Next stitch, put another one. Next stitch, put another one. So that's 4 single crochets over 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the next one gets 2. So that's going to be your repeat all the way around. 4 single crochets and then 2, which is your increase, 2 in the same hole. And the last stitch gets 2. Again, if you did not end at your marker, you've done something wrong. You should count your stitches. You should have 48. So now we're not going to be working in the round for a second. Now we're actually going to be chaining 1 and doing back post only single crochets all the way around for 48. So don't let this intimidate you. That's the only way we can take it from here up to the walls of the bag. So all you're going to do is you're going to come in through that stitch. You're going to go out through that stitch. So that's your back post right there on your hook. So you're going to yarn over. You're going to pull through, and then you're going to pull through. And you're going to do it again. Come up through that stitch, go back down through the next, yarn over, pull through, and pull through. I have to keep mine folded in half. It's way easier. So up through that stitch, down through that stitch, and this is your back post. So we're going to do that all the way around. gonna be hard to make the bag without it, so do you see where your stitches are? So you're gonna come up through that stitch, back down through that stitch. It's not that bad once you get onto it. Once you learn how to manipulate your work to make it nice and easy. So that's the look you're getting. It'll all make sense soon. If you've done the Easter basket with me, you already know what we're doing and why we're doing it. Just about done. So you pull your work apart to see. Seems like I started over here, so I just got a couple more to go. And there, I'm pretty sure I'm back around. So I'm just going to go into the next stitch and I'm going to slip stitch. Now you are going to have a little bit of a thing here, but so this is the inside of our basket. So this is going to be the outside, and you'll see once we start doing our single crochets, you'll see how this is going to work as far as a basket. Before that, you can take care of your end in here. Not a hole, I mean, you can weave it in or just tie a knot and cut it off. It's up to you. It's just the inside of the the inside of the bag. So I'm just gonna weave it in. There, now we don't have to worry about that anymore. So you're gonna we're gonna work back in the spiral again. So I'm gonna put my stitch marker back in, even though I already slip stitched in there, but so we're just gonna single crochet around for the next 17 rows. I'm not going to do obviously the whole 17 rows with you, but I will put my pause screen up, and I will put my pause screen up, and then I'll meet you back here after we do a little bit. So you should have 48. Not a huge big deal if you don't have 48. It's really not going to change. It's not going to change anything. It's just going to be a bigger bag. That's all. So beginner friendly. If you made a mistake, not a big deal. Alright, I'll put the pause screen up and I'll meet you right back here after your 17 rows are done. Alright guys, I'm back and I've got my 17 rows done. So it looks like this. So this is where we did our back posts. So you can see why we did our back posts. Alright, so now that we've got our 17 rows complete, we can make our holes that our drawstring is going to go through. So from here I want you to chain 3. I want you to skip 2, go into the 3rd hole and single crochet. And we're just going to do this all the way around. So chain 3, skip 2, and single crochet in the 3rd hole. So that's all of our holes for our drawstrings. And now we're gonna half double crochet all the way around. So from our starting point, we're gonna put 2 into here, our big space, and then 1 into the following chain. So we're just doing a half double crochet, two into the big space, and then 1 into this last chain, the last stitch. So the next one, we're going to put 2 half double crochets into this big space, and then 1 into this stitch right at the end, all the way around. You don't have to pull tight and keep it all loosey-goosey. I know it's hard to see what stitch I'm going into, so I'll try to show you. And then this, do you see this stitch? Let me show you. So right at your post, there is a stitch right there. And that's the stitch you're going to go into. To do your third half double. So that stitch right there, sorry, so that stitch right there. So you basically, instead of going into these 2 stitches and then the third one, you're just going into the big space and then the third one. So we're skipping this stitch altogether. You're going to put 2 into the space and then in this stitch right there, you're going to put another one, that stitch right there, and you're going to put another one in there. So I hope that's helpful, just so you know where I'm going. almost back around. So now that we're back around, I am going to try to get into that. Now I'm not going to be able to slip stitch. And then you're going to put half double crochet in every stitch around. And you can just slip stitch to the top of that stitch and fasten off. Pull your knot tight. So that's your rim around your bag. There we go. Alright guys, we're going to start our eyes, our heart eyes. You're going to need your 4mm hook and a slip knot. You're going to chain 2, and in this first chain you're going to put 2 single crochets. Try to keep it loose. It's going to be hard to get into after. Chain 1, pull your tail closed. We're starting from the corner of the bottom of the heart to the top of the heart. You have 2 holes, 2 stitches, and in each one of those stitches you're going to put 2 single crochets. This one is very difficult to get into. I have no idea why. It always is. And pull your thing tight again. So chain 1, turn your work. So you're going to put 2 single crochets in the first hole. You're going to put 1 single crochet in the next 2 holes. And 2 in the single crochets in the last hole. So that's your increase. It's going to be 2 in the beginning, in the front hole, 2 in the back hole, chain 1, turn your work. So you have 6 stitches now. You're just going to put 1 single crochet into each of those 6 stitches. Chain 1, turn your work. In case you're wondering, I have food coloring all over my hands. I was doing a gender reveal for my daughter and I got blue all over my hands. So yay, it's a boy. Anyway, moving on. So we're going to do another increase row. So we're going to put 2 single crochets in the first stitch, then 1 single crochet all the way across till we get to the last stitch, and then you're going to put 2 single crochets in the last stitch. You're going to chain 1 and turn your work. Now we're going to single crochet 1 in the next 4 stitches. You're going to chain 1 and you're going to turn your work. You're going to single crochet again in those 4 stitches, 1 in each hole. You're going to chain 1 and you're going to turn your work. We're going to single crochet 2 together, so you have 4 stitches. We're going to single crochet those 2 together, and then we're going to single crochet the next 2 together. And you're going to fasten off. And you're going to make a tiny wee little slip knot. You're going to come in to the very next stitch, put your slip knot on there, tighten it. You're going to come through and you're going to connect that, pull that tight, but you're still going to put a single crochet into that hole, and then you're going to single crochet in the next 3 holes. You're going to chain 1, you're going to turn your work. You're going to single crochet in the next 4 holes. You're going to chain 1, turn your work, and then you're going to single crochet 2 together. You've got 4 holes left, just like on the other side. So you're going to single crochet those 2 together and these 2 together. You're going to chain 1, and now you're going to single crochet wherever you can get your hook in, all the way around the outside of this heart. And it's just going to clean up the edges really nicely. So basically the end of each row you're going to be able to get your hook in there. And put a single crochet. So on the corner I'm going to put 2 because I want to be able to, I want to keep that point. And I'm going to try to weave in my end from my slip knot. So I'm just going to go over that. Oops. And I'm just going to come all the way back up, making sure I crochet in that end. And that way you know it's definitely not going to come unraveled. I mean, if you wanted to just weave it in normally instead of single crocheting it in, you can, but this is just added security. It is going to be sewn to something, so I don't think it's a huge big deal. And now we have stitches up here. So now I'm gonna try to weave in this other one. So I'm done now with this guy. I can cut him off so he's out of my way. And now where I fastened off on the first hump, I'm just gonna try to weave him in a little bit. So the awkward part, do in the middle. So I just fold my one hump back. Try to get in the middle. It's awkward, but it can be done. So I'm going to stop weaving him in now because I think I'm good. And I've got stitches along the top, so that's fantastic. And once you come full circle, you can just slip stitch, hold tight, fasten off. You want to fasten off with a decent sized tail for sewing. So I weaved this guy in so I can just snip him off. And this is where I connected to do my other hump. So I'm just going to cut it off. It's going to be sewn to something, so it's not a huge big deal. So there is your first heart for your eyeball, your little tiny heart. So you can go ahead and make number 2. I'll put my pause screen up with the directions, and I'll meet you back here when we're done. Okay, so now we're going to be working with the black. So I've got my little lights. Black is just very hard to see whether I've got my lights on full blast right now, and I've got my camera light going, and I still struggle to see it. So I have a little light that I use that just hangs around my neck, and you can adjust for brightness. And so if you notice a light shining on this is what I'm using. You can buy one at Amazon for like 12 bucks. So they really come in handy for reading, actually is what they're for. But I use mine because you can bend them and stuff like that and point them in any direction. So I use mine for crocheting. So in case you're wondering where this weird light's coming from, that is where it's coming from. So, actually, it might even help you guys see better, maybe. So, we're going to use our number 4. Make a slip knot. We're going to chain 11. So I'm going to single crochet 10, which means you're starting in the first stitch you can get into, back up, So you're going to chain 1 and you're going to turn. So we're going to do our decreases until we have 4 stitches across. So our decrease is going to consist of single crochet in the first 2 together and the last 2 together. So these ones in between are just straight single crochet. Oh, sorry. Single crochet the last 2 together. Making sure to get into that stitch properly. Chain 1. Turn our work. And again, single crochet the first 2. Regular single crochets. Oh, I did it again. Single crochet the last 2 together. Chain 1, turn your work. So we have 6. Single crochet these 2 together, single crochet normal, the next 2, and then the last 2 you're going to crochet together, and now you have 4 stitches remaining. So you're going to chain 1 and you're going to single crochet all the way around, just like we just did with the heart eyes. Wherever you can get your hook stuck into at the end, not too far in. So it should be the end of every stitch row. Every stitch row. So you can put a couple on the corners just to keep it nice and round, and then we got stitches all along the bottom here, so 1 in each. So I'm going to try to single crochet my tail in, just to make life easy on myself. It can be awkward, I get that, but it's well worth it. I'm going to put 2 in that same hole, just to kind of round it off a little bit. So now you got stitches along the top. So once you come back around, you can just slip stitch into that first stitch that you made. Pull tight, fasten off. Fasten off with enough to sew with. I almost did not. So there's our wee little mouth. We can just cut this off now. If you single crocheted it in like I did, you can just snip it off. If you didn't, then you'll have to weave it in. So that's our mouth. So we build it actually upside down. That's how we built it, but it actually goes like this. So you want the wide part at the top and the narrow part at the bottom when we sew it on. So we have our eyes, and now we have our mouth. So the only thing left before putting this entire thing together, this entire bag, is to do, I'm going to turn these lights off now, since we're going to be working with yarn I can actually see. It doesn't leave shadows. So get your red and your yellow, and we're going to make our drawstrings. And you're going to want your number 7mm, or if you don't have, if you use needles that are old school, it'll be a K, which is a 6.5mm, which is what you would have used for your purse anyway. So use whatever needle you use to make your purse, you can use it now. So we're just going to make a slip knot, and depending on, let me get my bag. So these are long enough that when your purse is closed, that these are you're gonna be able to put these over your shoulder and carry it like a purse. When your bag is open fully, these just hang down just below the bag. It's all up to you how long you want your drawstrings. So you'll have to figure, I don't know how you would figure it out. All I did for my length was I chained a bunch of chains, and then I fake wrapped it around to see how long it would be for 2 of them being in there. So that's all I did. If you want them as long as me, so you know, this can be thrown over a shoulder. A child's shoulder, they're pretty long for a kid's shoulder. But you're gonna have to decide. Mine, if you want yours just like mine, then we're gonna chain 95. So that's 95. Let's measure this in inches. So it's about 30 inches long. So with the bag closed, the bag is about 10 inches in diameter with it closed. So that gives you literally 20 inches of cord, drawstring. So if that gives you any idea what 95 stitches gets you, that's what it gets you. So you can make yours shorter or longer, and then you can just measure just like I did, just to see how long it's gonna be. So all we're gonna do from here is going into the first stitch that you can get into, we're gonna slip stitch, and we're gonna slip stitch all the way back up. That's all we're gonna do, is slip stitch until we get right back up to the very top. So I'm going to put my pause screen up, and you can go ahead and do your measurements and figure out how much you need, and or you can work away at doing your slip stitches for your drawstring, you're going to need to make 2 of these. So I'll put up the short little directions, and you can go ahead and finish this one and then make your next one, and then I'll meet you back here and we can do our pom-poms together. Alright guys, I've got my drawstrings done, both my drawstrings done. So, last but not least, is up to you, I guess. We're gonna make the pom-poms. But if you don't want pom-poms, then you don't have to. You can just skip right on past this. But, how I make pom-poms without a pom-pom maker is I just wrap. And I don't know how many times I wrap. I just wrap. So your judgment. It all depends on how much you want, like how big you want your pom-poms to be. I just do small ones because it's just a purse. So you also don't have to do the 2 colors together like I'm doing, but you know, kind of goes with the drawstrings, which you didn't have to do together either. You could have made them just plain yellow or just plain red. So, once you can't feel your hands anymore, you can just snip that off, and then you can just get a little piece for tying. Snip that off. So we're just gonna lay this down. My dog is gonna be a neurotic freak. So we're just going to lay this down on here. And we're going to tie a very tight double knot. Which is not easy to do because once you stop pressing on this knot to put the other knot down there, it kind of opens up a little bit. We do it really quick. Don't cut these off. You're gonna need these, and you're gonna need a big pair of scissors, which I don't have, so I'll be right back. So I've got my scissors and I got a bag so that I don't make a mess everywhere. With my last bunch from my last Emoji purse still in there. So I'm going to hold on to where I made my ties, and you're just going to go down and cut, and then we can do the other side. Now you're not going to get all of it, all of what you wrapped. You're going to have to find some that don't get cut, some of them down here. And you'll catch some when you're trimming. So now we trim. The shorter you go, the fuzzier it will be. So if your pom-pom's looking a little squirrely like this, just keep trimming it. You don't need to cut big chunks like we are now, but once we get all the big chunks done and it's still kind of looking a little squirrely, then just keep giving it a shallow trim, making sure to hold these so you do not cut them. And the more you trim, the softer it'll be. So just continue giving it a haircut until you're satisfied. And then once you're Once you think you got all the long ends, you're gonna find these little loops that you missed in the first place. Just shake it out. But I would suggest, if you got bad hands like me, to invest in a pom-pom maker. I have invested in one, but with the coronavirus, it is not here yet, and my other one broke. So I had one, but it broke. So you want to keep doing this with your fingers too, because you end up pulling up more. I swear you could do this forever. Just trim and trim and trim and trim and trim. And it'll never look right, but at some point you're gonna have to give it up. And try to be satisfied. But if you're anything like me, you're picky. So you'll notice this, the shorter you go, the fuzzier it gets, so it looks better and better and better. The shorter you go. So you'll need to, so while I'm still screwing around trimming mine, I'm going to put the pause screen up, and you can finish trimming, and then you can make your other one, and then I'll meet you back here after I'm done messing about, being picky, and we'll put all of this together. Okay, so I got my two pom-poms done. So what we're going to do before we do the drawstrings and stuff, because they might be a pain in the butt and get in the way, is we're going to sew on our stuff first. So I'm going to be using a needle like this. Reason being is I don't want to see it from the inside, so I'm going to sew it on so that I don't go through to the other side. So you can go down as low as you possibly can for this. And try not to pull too tight because you don't want to distort your mouth. You're just going to come into the yellow as close as you can to the mouth, and you're just going to come up into the stitches. You can pin this if it'll make your life easier. The last mouth I did ended up really crooked, so I'm going to try to really hold it still, but I'm going to stick a pin over here just to help me kind of hold it still. So my battery's going to die, so we're just going to let it die whenever, and we're just going to keep sewing. So when it dies, just know that I'm not gonna really work that far ahead of you. Whenever I notice it dead, I'll I want to get up into this end here because I don't want the corner of the mouth to curl up or anything. So when you come in as close as you can to the mouth and up, your stitches are going to be hidden underneath the mouth. So try not to go all the way through. You will be able to feel when you are through the yellow as well as the black. It'll be nice and stiff. If it's not stiff, then you know that you're not into the yellow. And if you do come through on the other side of the purse, it's not a huge deal. It's a purse. It's gonna have stuff in it, so it's not a huge deal. But, you know, if you were gonna sell this, you don't really want shoddy work. So, take my pin out. I think I'm safe. Oh, I think I still actually got my mouth crooked anyway. Yeah. But these go to my grandkids, so I don't really sell my work. I just give everything to my grandkids. So, and my face masks I give away for free. All the ones I do. So one last little stitch. And then you can just kind of weave it in back and forth. You don't want to tie a knot anywhere because that won't look so good. So try to do 3 different directions. Your rule of 3. So 3 different directions. It'll have to unweave itself to pop off. So, and there's your mouth, and I got mine crooked again. Not surprising. Well, you know what I didn't do for my other one? I didn't save any yarn to sew it on with. That's okay, I'll have to get a fresh piece. So we'll do the eyes. So you're going to want your eyes low enough that when your bag is all done up, your face isn't going to be overly distorted. So I'm going to come fairly low, but I'm going to put my head a pin. I'm going to put my eyes on kind of like a slanty slant, because that's actually how they are. Ouch. That's how they are with the emoji. They're on a slant. Actually, I think that still might be too high. I just don't want my face overly distorted. So again, I'm just going to do the same thing I did with the mouth. I'm going to go into the yellow, move slightly. Not pulling too tight because I don't want to distort the shape. I do want to roll up into this tip because you don't want that to roll up, you know, over the course of however long that you have the purse. You don't want it to roll up. Alright, there's the first one. My second one, I wasn't smart enough to get some yarn, so if you did the same thing as me, then I can show you how to remedy that. Just make a tiny little slip knot. Just like that, enough for your needle to go through. So, figure out where your other eye is going to go. You're going to put your needle through there. And then you can pull tight. Come right up into that crook of that heart. So, come back up where you started. And then you can just weave in your end. And then you can weave in this end. Be overly serious about that. And there you go. My mouth is crooked, but not too bad. So we can do our drawstrings. So for your drawstrings, you just have to see, look on the inside. Kind of came through in a couple of spots, but for the most part, not too bad. So you want your drawstrings coming out the side, so pick where you want it to come out, and you're going to go in and you're going to go around the post. You're going to weave back and forth like that. So you're going to go around this post into this hole, the back of that post, in front of that post, in this hole, behind that post, all the way around. There. So you want to make sure these are even as you can. So once you've got them fairly even, you just got to make sure that both sides are together like that. So you can shove that through there. You can shove this one through the top. You can do this all kinds of different ways. It's up to you. You just want to make sure these are together and not separate. So you can shove top to bottom like that. I'm putting a pom-pom on, so I don't really care how it looks because the pom-pom's gonna hide it. But if you're not putting the pom-pom on, then you're gonna have to find a way to make it look nice by sewing it, or and then I'm just gonna cut as close to the knot as I can. So yeah, something like that. Again, not pretty, but I'm putting a pom-pom here. So while we're discussing the pom-pom, we still have to do our other drawstring, but in the meantime, so all I do for the pom-pom is I stick it directly right through here, because all I'm doing is tying a knot. And I'm going to tie a knot. Right down into the middle. I can tie a double knot. So I did my other drawstrings on my other bag differently. If you want to go see how I did those, gives you options. You can go check out my Laffy face bag. But there's my pom-pom on my one drawstring. So the other drawstring starts here. Okay, so you want to take your end, you want to come around this post. Now we're going to be going this way, so we're going to be weaving on both sides. So find your middle once you've got it on there. You're going to come around in front of this post that this other one's behind. You're going to find that post, and that's when you're going to go into. So you're doing the opposite of the other one. You're going to come around this post, find this one, and you're going to go behind that one. Does this make sense? So you're going to get that kind of a look. So you're going to come in front of this one, you find that post, and you're going to go behind it. And one more time, because you want it to come out on the other side of your other string. So once you're satisfied with it coming out on the other side, you can spin around, grab your other end, and you're going to do the same thing. You're going to go around that post, you're going to find that post, and you're going to go around it and out the other side. So you're going to go in and out the other side here. You're going to go in and out the other side here. So now you have the drawstrings on the other side. You just got to make sure that they're even, because you're going to do the same thing. You're going to put your needle through there with your stuff, and you're just going to tie a knot. And then you're just going to tie a double knot and then cut them off. Then you're going to take your other pom-pom. And you're just going to go through, preferably in the center. Pulling on the wrong one. So, once you've got that through, you can just tie your double knot nice and tight. Snip off. I still got some snipping to do on my pom-pom. Telling you, it's a never-ending story. Anyway, I'll perfect that later. Yuckies. And there we have it. Pull your bag closed. So now with your bag closed, your eyes and your mouth are low enough that they shouldn't be distorted. Unlike this one, I didn't go low enough with these, so they're kind of distorted, but still doesn't look too bad. Once stuff is in them, it'll puff out too, so. And there we go. Thanks for joining me, guys. I'll see you in the next video.